Pnawn da, y cynghorydd Ifar Lloyd ydw i a cadeirydd y Pwyllgor Cynllunio ydw i. Hoffwn groesawu pawb i'r cyfarfod sy'n gyfarfod aml leoliad. Yn ogystal ar... Oh. Okay. Yes, no. Is it? Oh. Okay. Bear with us at home, please. We've got a translation problem. Can you hear translation in English at home?
Do you want me to test it again? Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. That's it. I'll start again, if that's okay with you. How dare you? Pnawn da.
Good afternoon. I'm Councillor Ifar Lloyd and I'm the Chair for the Planning Committee. I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting, which is a multi-location meeting. We also have officers here today to help with the discussions and also registered speakers. The meeting will be live streamed and recorded and will be available for viewing after the meeting. Should the live stream fail, the meeting will continue and the recording will be available through the Council's website following the conclusion of the meeting. Can I remind members that translation facilities are available? If you want to use this facility, please select English on the microphone unit in the chamber, and for attending remotely, click on the audio settings and select English. For those wishing to speak, press your microphone push to speak button, which is located at the bottom of the microphone console. Similarly, for those attending remotely, press the push to speak tab. Your names will appear in a queue and I will take speakers in turn as I consider appropriate. Do not use the yellow hand function. This should only be used if you want to come in with a point of order. As we get used to the new conferencing system, it's worth noting that if your microphone is red, you're an active speaker. But should you wait until I invite you to speak? So those in a queue may appear green at first, but you'll change to red as you move up in the queue. To keep your place in the queue, when you ask a question, leave your microphone on. To leave to ask any extra questions. Remotely, you won't be able to use the chat function, and if you need to leave the meeting, send a message in the chat function and then let us know when you're back. Moving on to the agenda. Any apologies for absences, please?
No apologies for absence today.
Thank you. Number 2, Declarations of Interest, Code of Local Government Conduct. Please tell us the existence and nature of your personal interest, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to declare an interest in 052531. I have close family members whose property backs up onto the applicant's property.
Thank you, and you'll be leaving the chamber for that item. Thank you.
Thomas.
Thanks, Chair. I have a personal interest in number 52021 as a neighbour. Will you be leaving the meeting? Yes.
I aelod newydd i'r
We should welcome a new member to this meeting, which is Sam Cotton. Welcome. And also a new member of the planning team, Andrew Huntley.
here in place of Katie Roberts, I believe. Thank you very much. Item 4.
Item number 4, minutes to approve and sign as the correct record minutes of the previous meeting. 5 to 13 pages in your pack today. Do I have a proposer? That they are correct. Councillor Dav Jones and seconder, Councillor Austin Roberts. And please can you show hands? Thank you very much, that's passed. And we'll move on.
I will now move on to item 5 on the agenda, which is a deferred application from the previous meeting. Code reference 0/52361. Venue Cymru, the Promenade Llandudno. Installation of 6 new antennas and 2 new steel frame, 1 electric meter cabinet, equipment and transmission dishes and ancillary developments there, and 2 remote radio units. Right, I do believe we have a few more items on the addendum. Is it Kerry taking this item? Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. There are 2 further letters of support, one referring to the existing mobile signal being poor and it's affecting trade, visitor experience, locals and the economy, and they say that the existing coverage isn't acceptable, and the second point is that they consider this to be a logical and discrete location. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to note as well the date on the appendix in the 18th of June 2025 report pack was incorrectly recorded as the 18th of the 3rd 25, when it should have read that the 18th of the 6th 25. This has been corrected in the July report pack. Okay. Members, I'll open up to the floor. Diolch yn fawr.
Hi, Chair. I'd like to just reaffirm the proposal from last time, for the same reasons. Do we need to go through it again? I don't think we do we?
Diolch yn fawr. So it's mine, it's a grant conditional planning permission. And do I have a seconder for that proposal, please? We have a seconder in Councillor na fo, and gawn ni gyd, os newn ni.
Can we please?
To speak? Okay, sorry. So I've got a nominee, and I have a for the proposal, and I have a seconder as well. So I'm going to logically open the vote, Berwyn, please. So if you'd like to press the green button if you are minded to grant, and press the red if you are minded to refuse. Trevor, would you like to press the red or the green? Green if you are minded to. Diolch yn fawr, thank you very much. And then yeah. And I'd like to now close the vote if everyone's voted. Diolch yn fawr. And that is unanimous. That's 16. There's more of you this time, remember. Yeah. 16 in favour, none against, and none abstaining. So that is carried. Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr. That is reaffirmed. Moving on to the second item on the addendum, which is to remove the existing floodlight lamps and replace with LED units. Minaton Bowling Club. I believe that he's gone. It was like Mr. Ben, isn't he? So Minaton Bowling Club, Bethesda Road, Old Colwyn, Colwyn Bay. I'd just like to highlight there is a typo in paragraph 18 of the report. It should read demonstrates compliance and not fails to demonstrate, just for clarification. Who is taking this item?
I am, Chair.
Yeah, thank you,
So I'd
Paula.
just like to note another correction. It looks like there are two sets of dimensions contained within paragraph 4. And it's just for members to note to disregard the measurements that refer to 422 millimetres in width by 599 millimetres in height by 622 millimetres in depth. The correct measurements are listed further on in that paragraph. Thank you.
Would anyone like to speak? Councillor Stephen.
Officer's recommendation.
Diolch yn fawr. I've got a proposer and I've got a seconder in Councillor Austin Roberts. Would anyone like to speak? Councillor Sam, were you keen to? What?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I support the application, but I just wanted to clarify the timings of operation, really. I think at the top of page 27 at point 2, it refers to the lights being in operation between April and October after 6:30 p.m. But on page 28 at the bottom, residential amenity, it refers to the applicant states they would operate the floodlights from 8 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. In line with current planning permission. I just wanted to clarify the times, please.
As part of this application, the applicant isn't proposing to amend the times that they're looking to operate. It will be in line with the current planning permission.
Right, okay.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much. Anybody else like to speak before I go to the vote? No. So I have a proposer and I've got a seconder.
Yeah, there's two of us online.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I forgot about you at home. Councillor Joe.
Okay, please could we take into account the comments from the ecologist regarding dimmable lights and bird boxing and planting, please?
That's Paula.
Yes, they will automatically be included as conditions.
Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr. And Councillor Andrew.
Just in relation to the meeting, struggling to hear Paula and could hear Joe fine online, so if you can get closer to your microphones, please. There's definitely an issue because if I press the red button, Paula goes louder. So, yeah, please.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Diolch yn fawr. Felly, if we've all finished speaking, I will go to the vote. Okay? I will open the voting. Berwyn? So that's green to mine to grant and red against. I don't know what, I think that's it. So I'll close the voting. Thank you, Berwyn. And once again, that's unanimous. 16 in favour and none against. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you, members. Can we bring in Kerry Thomas again? Diolch. Moving swiftly on to 0/52494, variation of condition 2 of approval 0/50392, and this is at Parc Menter Tremorfa, Enterprise Park, Parc Caerseon, Conwy. Just like to highlight that the last sentence in paragraph 12 should read, however, the reserved matter approvals granted for units 6 and 7 are now lapsed, and the applicant is requested an additional period for submitting new reserved matters application on these plots. And could I ask, is it Kerry who's taking this one?
Diolch Cadeirydd. Yes,
Diolch yn
that's the only matter to report in the addendum. I just wanted to clarify that even though the reserved matter approvals have lapsed, the variation sought to the permission would allow a further period for submitting reserved matters, so the planning permission can effectively be kept live in that way.
Aelodau. Members, who would like to speak first? Councillor Allen.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Yeah, I can't see any problems with us extending this, so I'd like to propose that we go with the officer's recommendation.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much. I'm going to eilydd. I've got a seconder in, Councillor Dav. Is that correct, Dav? Diolch yn fawr. Councillor David Jones, second that. And I have no one online now. They've all popped off. Don't know what? No one wants to speak. They were keen to second. Yeah, they are still here. Yes. Felly, I have nobody else wanting to speak, I take it. So I'm going to go to the votes, Berwyn. I'm going to open the vote. So that's, again, green to mind its grant conditional outline planning permission to extend the time period for submission of the reserved matters in respect of plots 6 and 7. So all those in favour, green, and all those against in red. Okay. Gwennol, just. Yeah. Gwennol, ti isio? Diolch yn fawr. A pwy arall Seb? And that's it. Thank you. Close the vote, please, Berwyn. Once again, that's a unanimous decision. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you, members. Moving on to 0/52516, proposed change of the vacant public convenience into a retail unit, including upgrading with EWI and the addition of solar panels at the public convenience in Wern Road, Llandelas, Abergele. And I have Gary Thomas, please.
Dim byd i adrodd.
Nothing to report. Members, Councillor Allen.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I'm very happy to support this application. I know the area well, and a group have got together to take over the building and turn it into a shop. I think it's a brilliant plan, great idea, so I'm very happy to propose we go with the officer's recommendations.
Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you, Councillor Allen. Do I have a seconder to that, please? Thank you, Councillor Austin. You like a double act today. Thank you. Anybody at home? Nobody. So I'll quickly go to the vote. All those in favour, press green. All those against, press red. I feel like a bingo caller. Sorry. Iawn. A dyna fo. We'll close the vote. Ac unwaith eto, once again, 16 in favour, no objections and no abstentions. So that one's carried. Thank you. And our final item on the agenda today is variation of condition 4 of the approval 04/40995, which was the variation of condition 5 planning permission 04/27200 to allow for the siting of 23 static caravans in place of the touring caravan park, to allow for the change to the wording to read the static caravans shall not be occupied between the 8th of January and the 1st of March in any 1 year at 30 Gwellyn Avenue, Kimmel Bay. I'd like to pass it over to Gary Thomas.
Diolch Cadeirydd. There are two procedural matters that need to be understood. Firstly, in relation to TAN 15, there is a requirement that if the committee is minded to go against the advice of NRW, TAN 15 advises that the local authority should inform them prior to granting consent to allow sufficient time for further representation to be made. And the second requirement, which is it's a very similar one, but there's a direction which would require the authority to also to give notice to Welsh Government. I mean, these would only apply in the event that the authority is minded to grant planning permission, and in such a case, if the committee were to go against officer recommendation, it would have to go back to committee anyway. So this is something we would do prior to the next meeting.
Diolch yn fawr, Ceri. Members. Who'd like to start? We have Councillor Keita.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, well, we're in a difficult position with this one, aren't we? Because TAN 15 has just been revised. We have a newly revised TAN 15 which came into operation this year. So the other sites which operate under planning permission which predates 2004 and this TAN 15, of course, have been judged under different regulations, and we have to judge this one under the latest regulations. So we can't use their permissions to justify giving permission for this and granting this current application. So I do have a problem with this. I know that one of the local members is very much in favour of granting this and feels that it would be important for the extra clients to be at this site and that knock-on effect on the economy and so on. But I think I'm heading towards going with the officer's recommendation on this one, Chair.
Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Thank you very much.
Proposal, I think that's just a leading, is it?
I'll await the debate.
Right, thank you. Councillor Austin.
Thank you very much. I understand those comments from Councillor Keita, but I'm ready to propose that we go with the officer's recommendations, and that's the proposal.
Thank you very much. So I have a proposal in front of us. Do I have a seconder to that proposal, please? Councillor Dav. I don't know how I missed you then. Go on, sorry. Councillor Dav. Are you seconding the proposal?
Yeah, I'm seconding that proposal, Chair. Yeah.
Would you like to speak as well, or you?
Yeah, basically just exactly the same as Councillor Chris, really. We can't go against the new TAN 15, and you know that stands for this and future applications, and we can't look back. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Jones. And then Councillor Allen.
Thanks, Chair. I was going to speak in favour of allowing this to go through because it's right next to, well, it's all on the same site as where there are residential caravans already. They'll be closed for 2 months of the year, which is pretty normal. I take on board what Chris has said. It is a new TAN, but I brought a similar application that was minded to refuse because of NRW to a site in Pensaun, which again was a site that had 12 months opening, but a small number of caravans in the different parts of the site weren't allowed to stay open, and we took that forward. And yet, while I agree, you know, it is a new TAN, and I hate using the word precedent, but we need to look at this. NRW will probably oppose this every single time in that area. There's no housing. If there's a flooding issue, it's already on a site that's got caravans there. So I was going to go against the officer's recommendation. And if I think, Kerry, you said it has to go back for the is it to inform NRW? They want to make, if they wanted to make any further representations? Is it NRW?
It depends what the committee decides this afternoon, really. If the committee decides to refuse, then he won't need to go back to NRW. If the committee decides to grant permission, or minded to grant permission effectively, it would, then during the cooling off period, we would have to notify NRW and the Welsh Government under separate provisions.
Okay. The way I read it in the report was that NRW would make further representations. I would have thought this was their chance to have made any representations necessary. That's where I read it. But anyway, that's by the by. So I'm going to propose that we go against the officer's recommendations on this one.
Diolch, Councillor Allen. And Councillor Kay.
Thank you, Chair. In a similar vein to Councillor Allen, my reservations are that there are residential 12-month plots on that land, and we're only looking at 23 caravans. In the height of the summer, we've got like 50 to 60,000 extra tourists in Towern and Kimnel Bay. This would be over the winter period when we don't have anywhere near that amount of people. And I know that one of the reasons is the evacuation procedure, but to evacuate 23 caravans in the middle of winter, I don't feel would be any extra strain on what we already have, considering we haven't got that extra 50 to 60,000 people in Towern and Kimnel Bay at the time. The biggest threat of flood there is from the river, which is Natural Resource Wales land that they have ownership of. And I do believe that if they feel that that's the biggest threat, then they need to be doing something to mitigate that, because the whole of Towern and Kimnel Bay is at risk. We're having the sea defence work done, but if their argument is the river, that is their land, and they should be doing all they can to protect us. So I don't think that the extra couple of months for 23 caravans is a massive issue in the big scheme of things, and I would second what Councillor Allen has said. Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr iawn. I will take Alan's proposal and I'll take yours as a second, but basically I'm going to take Austin's proposal first, and if that fails, then I will come to your vote. Okay? Thank you. Does anyone else like to speak on this matter? No? If not, I will go to the proposal, which is minded to refuse planning permission, and that was proposed by Councillor Austin and seconded by Councillor Dav. So can you please open the vote, Berwyn? That is green if you're minded to refuse planning permission, and red if you're against that motion. Councillor Trevor, would you like to? So it's green if it's minded to refuse planning permission, thank you very much, or red against. I think I'm going to close the vote now, Berwyn. And that is 9 in favour of the motion, 5 against, and 1 abstention. So that is carried, minded to refuse planning permission. Well, members, that was probably one of the shortest meetings I've ever chaired in my life. So thank you for your attendance today and your participation. And thank you to the officers for their hard work and diligence. As to Julia and Jane and to Rachel. And we'll see you next time. Diolch yn fawr.